Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to FebruGelli Days 20 and 21. I didn't get jelly plate out yesterday. I was in the middle of doing the journal and things. I just didn't have the space or anything, so I was in the zone for sorting that out. So I didn't do it yesterday, but yesterday and today's on Dee's channel are fairly similar, so I will just do something, my take on that. Before I start, I wanted a quick word about paints. I was having a conversation with Kathleen and we were talking about different types of paint, and I will tell you what I use. You can use plates like this. Is it Do Crafts or something? I can never. Yeah, Do Crafts Artiste. You can get them from the range. They're okay, but they're quite thin paints, and I don't think thin paints, they're not good at holding a pattern and things like that. They're okay to make a pretty colour if you want, you know, to blend some things and as backgrounds and things, but and I do use them, but they're not the greatest at pulling a print off because they're quite thin. I think if you want to pull a print off, you need something that's got a bit of body to it. And let me talk about some other paints. These plates, I believe they came from Amazon. They're neon ones, Chiltern Arts, and I had them as a birthday present. I would say these are not the greatest. They are quite, I don't know what the word is. They're not thin, but they're not thick paint either. It's bizarre. Their texture is thin, but there's not a lot of pigment. Maybe that's what I mean. And they slip and slide around on the jelly plate, so they're not the greatest for jelly printing. These I bought myself from Amazon. They're called Stylex. They weren't very expensive. I think they were about excuse me, £12 for a set of pastels. I think yellow, pink, a purpley, green and a blue, something like that. No white or black, which is quite, I've got a lot of white and black usually. So these I found quite good for their price, and for if they're quite thick, you know, I would buy those again. I probably will do. Other paints, my favourite paints are definitely these. The Pebeo Studio Acrylics paints that you can buy, or you can probably buy them online. I've always bought mine from Hobbycraft when they're half price, and they're often half price. Whenever Hobbycraft have a sale, they tend to put them on half price. These I like a lot. And my metallic ones are from this range, and they have different ones. And if you look at them, they actually tell you what type of paint they are. So this one says opaque. Most of mine are opaque, but you can get transparent ones. You can get pearlescent ones and metallic and all sorts of things. They have a massive range, but they're quite nice. But I don't know how much they are, and I can't remember how much I bought them. I want to say £2 a thing, a pot, but I might be telling Porcupine. So I like those a lot. These are good. The Liquitex Basics Acrylic, I'd put those in the same bracket. They're very, very similar. Lovely colours and nice thick paints. These I bought from, now I don't know, because I think they're all the same paint anyway. I think, is that Aldi or Lidl? I bought them a long time ago. I bought them in a set of about 24. They're 36 millilitre. Oh, excuse me. I haven't used my voice yet this morning. They're 36 millilitre tubes, and you get a good range of colours in a box. I think they came from Lidl or Aldi, but the Works sell them, and they're fine because they're quite thick as well. You don't get so much colour in them, but you do get a large variety of colours, and they're not bad on a jelly plate. I think in future, because I used to buy just things like this, and it's only recently that I've started buying more expensive ones. I think for choice, for bulk colouring things, I would probably buy some of these because those were relatively inexpensive, or these when they're on offer, because they're just such a lovely paint. So that's what I would buy. As for taking paints off, if you're after FebruGelli's done, I'm going to do a few more videos, and you can build multi-layer. If you've got some patience, you can build multi-layer prints, and they look really pretty. But sometimes if you've left something to dry, you need a good paint to pull it off. I wouldn't try and take it off with a white or a cream in this brand. I just don't think it would pull the paint off the plate. My favourite paint, which I don't have any of, is Amsterdam Titanium White. It's got a lovely thick body. You only need because you don't need much paint, you just need a sticky paint. So that white is good. I couldn't buy any more when I went to buy it. There was none left, and I've used a whole one of these since Christmas, or since my birthday. So I shall be getting some more when I can. So what I bought instead was Winsor & Newton's Titanium White, and that's fine. I haven't got an issue, but I haven't really put it through its paces yet. So the Amsterdam one I love, just for pulling off multi-layered images. Anyway, hope that's been a bit helpful for people. Now, what am I going to do? I can't do what Dee is doing yesterday and today, because I only have this jelly plate and it's like half a size jelly plate. So I've got no small ones that do the circle. So I thought, what can I do? What can I do to, do something similar? I'm hopefully only going to be doing the one print today, she says. So what I did was I got some acetate. Now I'd like to say I ran it through my die cutting machine. I did run it through the die cutting machine. But it's very thick acetate. This is a folder cover. It didn't cut it. It's left a lovely circle shape, but it didn't cut it. It cut the piece of card that was on top of it. I've cut the circles, easily fell out of that. So I don't know how, it seems like it self-sealed itself afterwards. No idea. So I thought I would try and do this and do my circles on here. It may or may not work, but we're all friends here. If we have an epic fail, it's not the end of the world. So let me have a quick glug of tea. I'm going to have more than a quick glug because it's getting cold. And I know I'll forget that in a minute. So I'm going to start with the big circle, I think. I'm just going to leave it there and see what I can do. Oh, do you know what I haven't got? I haven't got my brayer. 1 second, I will be back. Right, in answer to your question, Dee, about cleaning brayers, I rarely clean mine. I usually give it a wipe at the end, if I remember. But last time I'd used it, I'd got gesso on it, and I didn't know whether or not, since gesso is a primer, whether or not that would sort of stick on it. So I did give it a quick rinse under the tap. I noticed there's something stuck on there that's going to give us a ridge. I don't really want. Sometimes I leave it in soak, and then sometimes this gets back to sort of a white colour. Not often. I usually just let the colour. Now I've got to remember what Dee did. I think she just put circles. Now she started with yellow. She did start with yellow. I don't think there's any in there. Hang on a sec, I'm going to go and get some yellow. The other thing I meant to say with paints is that if you've got something like this, this is I'll show you it. This is the oopsie. Not going to use very much. She says, getting bits of paint everywhere. If you're finding it like this, it's just a bit thin and a little bit. It just doesn't. It doesn't cut it for me, put it that way. Just add another paint, that like a bit of white, or another paint that's got a heavier body, and then hopefully that will, although having said that, that is not looking excellent. Right. So I'm just going to be doing this, lifting off my stencil, trying not to make a huge mess. and stick that on there. That's the plan. And we'll have a second one if it wants to come off. Yeah. So I'm going to go in again. Let me just get this the right way around, because yesterday, or whenever it was, I kept putting my stencil down the wrong way round. Let's have some more of that. So it's going to be a slow process, doing layers and things. But I want to see whether or not I can create a similar thing without buying the little jelly. I mean, I'd love some little of the jelly plates, the round ones. I might treat myself to some at some point, but I don't have them at the moment, so I'm going to use what I've got. And just, that's cool. And just see what we can do. And I think for the sake of your sanity and mine, because this is going to be quite a slow process, I will stop talking and speed this up a bit so that you can see what I'm doing without the drivel. Right, I'm changing colours. I'm going to go in with sort of greens, I think, now. So I've cleaned my plate, I've cleaned my brayer, just run it off on somewhere, and I've cleaned the stencil so that I'm not transferring too much of the other colours. And I've dried my print as well, so that the print isn't going to be leaving orange and yellow on the plate. I'm going to go in with a smaller circle. Okay, a little bit random, but I've just discovered quite a good way of cleaning my brayer. I've put a wet wipe on the jelly plate and I've just been rolling across there, and it's actually picking up the bits on the edge of the roller that don't usually come off, and I think it's because the surface has got a little give in it. Before I carried on, I'd actually got a really pretty baby wipe that I could have used again, but I've now turned it sort of to mud. But there you go, Dee, that's a different way of cleaning your roller. Right, so this is dry. It's looking a little bit grungy, but I'm thinking we can tart this up with some bottle tops, some circles, maybe the bit of corrugated cardboard. And I've got this off a squirty cream top. I've no idea how that will come out, and I'm not going to try it straight on there, but I might have a practice on a bit of paper first. So this is going to need some black and some white, I think. Let's go for the white first. We might even use a stencil as well, just to add a bit of pizzazz. She says, if she can get the lid off the paint. So a little bit of white up there and a bit of black down here. And I am using this paint. You know, I don't have anything against these paints. I just don't think they're the best on a jelly plate, that is all. I still use them. Let's have a go with this. I want to see what it does. I'm going to use a bit of this pink thing here. I mean, this may not work at all. In fact, I don't think it will. Let's just... No. No, that's not brilliant, is it? This is not as I had hoped. Anyway, I thought we'd get a nice flower shape, but it's still good as a circle. So let's use it as a circle, like that. Hopefully we've got. This will make all the difference, I think. Once you start putting on some white, you'll transform what you've got into something new. And it's nice when you overlap them, but I might overlap them with a different size, like that. Right, we've got more of those. What I was thinking, I could really do with some cardboard that wasn't quite as the ridges aren't quite as thick. This is better, but whether or not we can get the coating off quickly enough, I don't know. Just need to pull some of this off. And you can wet it. Wetting it also helps remove it. Oh look, we're getting there. Or pokey tool, where are you? That is sometimes quite useful. That's all we want, just a bit of, and it doesn't matter if we haven't got a perfect piece, because I'm not really into that. Just shoving my pokey tool through there and pulling off some of this. Right, that'll do. Didn't want, this one's nice, but it's good for some things, not good for others. This will suffice. Right, let's just get a brush. I think I'm going to brush it on, she says. Maybe I should try it first before I shove it onto this. Just don't want to ruin it. Oh, that looks all right. I'm wondering if I could just move that paint around, that might be better. Actually, what I'd done before was better, I think, with the paintbrush, because I was getting too much paint on it. It's not, the ridges are quite shallow. Right, let's just see what we've got going on there. going to just go for it now. Just wanted to check before I ruined my print. Oh, I'm quite liking those. And let's have another think. I could do a little bit more white, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that. Let's have a think. I'm looking for a bottle lid. I'm looking for a small bottle cap, which I don't seem to have. What else could we use? We could use the end of a pencil. That's usually quite good. Let's do that. If you want a few circles, don't want too much, because I know I can go a bit overboard on the old circles and dots. I quite like that. I think that looks good. I'm wondering if we need a few black circles. Do I go for a bigger one or a smaller one? Let's try that. Yes, that's what it needs. Don't you see, it makes all the difference, these little bits afterwards. I'm going to keep this. I did it on card deliberately. I'm going to scan this one and use it as a background for things. There. There we go. I think I'm going to stop now. Stop, Steph, stop. What do you think? I'm loving it. Right, thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this, and there may be a bonus video at the end. Who knows? Bye for now.